The automotive landscape of the 1970s was a bleak, turbulent place, dominated by crippling fuel crises, suffocating new emissions regulations, and stringent government safety mandates. Performance was dying, styling was compromised by massive, protruding 5-mile-per-hour bumpers, and the thrilling era of the muscle car was effectively over. Yet, out of this corporate and regulatory despair, a bold visionary asked a radically counterintuitive question. Could a vehicle be engineered that combined the exotic futuristic allure of a Gullwing sports car with the uncompromising, tank-like security of an advanced safety vehicle? The answer to that question was the Bricklin SV-1, a fascinating, tragic, and utterly unique masterpiece of automotive ambition that tried to prove safety could be incredibly sexy. SV-1 literally stood for Safety Vehicle 1, and its creator, Malcolm Bricklin, was determined to revolutionize how the world looked at crash protection. Long before the public associated safety with sensible, boxy Swedish station wagons, Bricklin envisioned a sports car that would not only turn heads on the highway, but also allow its occupants to walk away from a devastating high-speed collision. It was a beautiful, audacious dream, but the reality of bringing it to life would culminate in a spectacular corporate disaster, filled with political intrigue, manufacturing nightmares, and a legacy as one of the most compelling what-ifs in automotive history. To understand the car, we first have to understand the man behind it. Malcolm Bricklin was a quintessential American entrepreneur, charismatic, fast-talking, and possessed an uncanny ability to sell a grand vision. Before he ever dreamed of building his own automobile, he had already left a massive mark on the automobile industry in America in the late 1960s. Having made a fortune, Bricklin turned his attention to a grander passion project. He noticed that the United States government was pushing hard for safer cars. Experimental safety vehicles were being built by major manufacturers, but they were universally hideous, heavy, and impractical. Bricklin saw a wide-open gap in the market for a high-style sports car built entirely around the philosophy of occupant survival. To turn this concept into a physical reality, he assembled an impressive team of talent, including the legendary designer Herb Grass, who had worked on the iconic Ford Falcon and helped construct the original television Batmobile. Together, they sculpted a low-slung, wedge-shaped fastback that looked like a spaceship compared to the mundane sedans clogging 1970s traffic. Its defining features were undoubtedly its dramatic, top-hinged gullwing doors, a design element previously popularized by the ultra-rare Mercedes-Benz 300 SL and later destined for the DeLorean. But beneath that striking exterior layout lay an unprecedented fortress of safety engineering. The SV-1 was built around a massive integrated steel roll cage that formed a protective perimeter around the passenger cabin. The front and rear bumpers were mounted on sophisticated hydraulic shock absorbers designed to compress and absorb incredible impacts without sustaining structural damage. Even the gas tank was deeply recessed and heavily protected against rear-end ruptures. Perhaps the most technologically ambitious element of the SV-1 was its bodywork. Instead of traditional steel or conventional fiberglass, Bricklin utilized an innovative material called acrylic sheet, which was vacuum-formed and then bonded to a fiberglass backing. The color was baked directly into the acrylic layer, meaning the car couldn't scratch or chip like paint, and minor blemishes could literally be buffed out of the plastic. It was a brilliant concept in theory, but in practice, it became the car's undoing. The acrylic expansion rates differed vastly from the fiberglass backing under changing temperatures, leading to severe cracking, warping, and an unacceptable failure rate on the factory floor. The manufacturing process itself was a masterpiece of logistical complexity and political maneuvering. Seeking generous government subsidies to fund his dream, Bricklin struck a deal with the Canadian province of New Brunswick. The provincial government, desperate to create industrial jobs in an economically depressed region, poured millions of dollars into setting up 2 factories to assemble the SV-1. However, the local workforce had zero experience in automotive manufacturing, and the specialized techniques required for the temperamental acrylic body panels were completely alien to them. When the SV-1 finally hit the market in 1974, it quickly became apparent that the safety vehicle moniker came with significant performance compromises. Because of the heavy steel roll cage, hydraulic bumpers, and thick bodywork, the car weighed nearly 3,500 pounds, significantly heavier than contemporary Corvettes. To move this hefty machine, 1974 models were equipped with an AMC 360 cubic inch V8 engine, which, choked by early emissions equipment, produced a modest 220 horsepower. By 1975, sourcing issues forced a switch to a Ford 351 Windsor V8, which dropped output even further to a sluggish 175 horsepower, made it exclusively to a lazy 3-speed automatic transmission. The futuristic sports car that looked like a rocket ship on the outside delivered straight-line performance that was painfully ordinary. Furthermore, the very features meant to celebrate the car's high-tech nature turned into daily frustrations for owners. The magnificent Gullwing doors were immensely heavy. To open them, Bricklin engineered a complex, electro-hydraulic system operated by buttons inside the cabin. The system was notoriously slow, taking up to 12 excruciating seconds to fully lift a door. Worse still, it suffered from severe electrical gremlins. If the car's battery drained, occupants could find themselves completely trapped inside their ultra-safe fortress, forced to awkwardly crawl out through the rear hatch. The doors were also plagued by poor weather stripping, ensuring that a rainy day resulted in a soaked interior. As production dragged on through 1975, the financial walls began closing in on Malcolm Bricklin. The costs to manufacture each vehicle skyrocketed far past the original estimates due to the massive wastage of ruined acrylic panels. The retail price of the car doubled in a short period, alienating potential buyers who could now purchase an established luxury sports car for less money. Quality control issues mounted, warranty claims poured in, and the New Brunswick government eventually realized that their massive financial gamble was disappearing into a bottomless pit of development delays. In late 1975, after fewer than 3,000 cars had rolled off the assembly line, the funding was abruptly cut, the factories fell silent, and Bricklin Canada went into receivership. Today, the Bricklin SV-1 occupies a poignant, widely respected corner of automotive history. It was a glorious, flawed experiment that arrived ahead of its time, predicting the modern automotive world's obsession with crash safety standards decades before they became standard industry practice. While it is often unfairly lumped together with other famous automotive failures, it remains a testament to an era when an independent entrepreneur could still dare to challenge Detroit giants with a wild, futuristic vision. It proved that safety didn't have to be boring. It just required a little bit of imagination, a pair of Gullwing doors, and the courage to build something the world had never seen before.